Hello friends, welcome to Coding Garden, and welcome to this intro of React Roots, my new course on React and TypeScript that will teach you how to build modern single-page web applications with React and TypeScript. Now, the too long didn't read version of this is it's a live course that's going to be presented over a series of 8 live streams. It's going to be 2 weeks long from April 10th to April 21st, and they're going to happen from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. GMT -6. ReactRoots.com for all of this info, but let's dive into what this course is all about. So in this intro video, you will list the 2 ways that you can experience this course, list the differences between the free and the paid version of this course, determine if you have the background knowledge required to take this course, list the course start and end days and lesson start times, find the React Roots website to read the learning objectives for every planned lesson, describe the lesson sandwich trademark patent pending and how it's going to be used in this course, describe what will happen on the reserved project work days during this course, get all of your frequently asked questions answered, and get a discount code for the paid version of this course. So, like I mentioned, there's 2 different ways to experience this course. The first one is for free, and this is open to anyone, and you'll be able to watch live on Twitch on the dates that I mentioned. But it's important to note that I will not be reading the live chat on Twitch during this time. And also, you won't get access to the live stream recordings, reading materials, exercises, or projects. Now, the paid version of this course is limited to 30 participants. Think of this as a live classroom where it's just going to be me, you, and potentially 29 other students. Tickets for this are $150, and there are discount codes available. Now, what are you getting for this ticket price? You're getting access to a voice and text chat during the live stream. So during the lessons, if you have questions or you want to clarify or you want to give a comment, this is what I'm going to be paying attention to. I'm not going to be reading the Twitch chat. You and 29 other students get my undivided attention. Well, divided into 30 attention during the lessons. You'll also get access to the live stream recordings during the course and also after the course. You'll get access to pre-lesson reading materials. You'll get access to exercises and projects, a private Discord server where I'm going to be giving help and feedback during the length of the course. Now, it's important to note that I'm in a specific time zone, so if you join this course, I will be responding to questions in that private Discord between noon and 5 p.m. GMT -6. So essentially, when you're working on exercises and projects, I'll be there to help if you need it. Now, let's talk about what you need to know if you're going to take this course. And essentially, this course is not for complete beginners. You will need to have experience with all of these things I'm about to talk about. And essentially what I mean is I'm not going to be teaching these topics in this course. So I'm expecting that you have this basis of understanding before taking this course. And first, you should be able to build websites with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You should have already built several of them, and you should have good experience doing that. You should have experience accessing the DOM and updating the DOM with JavaScript. So things like document.getElementById or document.querySelector or element.textContent. These various things, you should have experience doing that. You should have experience solving problems with JavaScript. You should be able to solve basic problems on like Code Wars, Code Katas, or LeetCode, that kind of thing. You should have experience working with objects in JavaScript. You should have experience working with the various kinds of scope like global and function. You should have experience working with functions and know how to define and invoke them. You should be familiar with higher order methods like map and filter. You should have used asynchronous JavaScript and be familiar with callbacks and promises. You should have used something like fetch or Axios to make HTTP requests. And finally, you should be familiar with running basic commands from the command line. So if you know how to do all of these things and you have not worked with React and TypeScript before, this course is for you. And let's talk about when the course is going to be, all of the lessons that are going to happen, and also show you where you can find all of the lesson objectives and outlines. So like I said, this is a 2-week course. It starts on April 10th, ends on April 21st. And every live stream is going to be from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. GMT -6. The first lesson is on Monday, April 10th, and it's going to cover Intro to Modern Web Development. So I'm going to cover what are bundlers, what are transpilers, what is the build process, what are modern features of JavaScript like varlet and const and arrow functions, and template strings, and all of the things you'll need to know to work with modern web development. On Tuesday, April 11th, we're going to talk about TypeScript. Now, it's important to note that this is not an advanced TypeScript course. I'm essentially going to teach you the basics of TypeScript and everything you need to use TypeScript with React. We're not going to dive into advanced topics. I'm just going to show you the things that will allow you to be productive quickly with React and TypeScript. On Wednesday, April 12th, we're going to talk about React and component hierarchies. And so we're going to show how do you break a UI down into components, how do you structure component hierarchies in your application, and essentially the basics of React before diving into use state and use effect and some of the more complex things when dealing with React components. On Thursday, April 13th, we're going to talk about the basics of React forms. I'm going to show you how to work with inputs, DOM events, and state in your React application. And on Friday, April 14th, we're going to dive into the component lifecycle, hooks, and API requests. So this is when we're going to start talking about things like use effect, use state, use callback, use memo, and how to use them in your React application. On Monday, April 17th, we're going to talk about React Router, which is going to allow you to build single-page applications with React. And we're also going to talk about global state management with the Context API, which is going to allow you to have state that you can share between the different pages and components in your React application. And then on Tuesday, April 18th, we're going to talk about styling React components and using component libraries in your React app. So we're going to talk about styled components, CSS and JS, Tailwind, and component libraries like Material UI and React Bootstrap. And you'll be able to form an opinion on which of those you prefer and what you'd like to use in your React application. And on Wednesday, April 19th will be your first project day, and Thursday, April 20th will also be a project day. So essentially, over the course of these 2 days, you'll take everything you've learned and apply it to a React project. And the last day of the course, April 21st, we're going to wrap up the course and give a whirlwind tour of the React ecosystem. So anything we weren't able to cover in the course, I'll give a quick example of and show you how you can learn more about those things if you're interested. Now, to get a breakdown of every single one of these lessons and what is going to be taught in those lessons, check out reactroots.com. So if you go to React Roots, you can see the course description here. It's pretty much everything I've talked about so far. But if you scroll down to curriculum, you'll see every single lesson and all of my learning objectives for each of those lessons. So this tells you exactly what I'm going to teach and what I'm going to cover in this course. So there's no question about will I cover this or will I not cover that. If it's not listed here, I'm not going to cover it. And if it is listed here, it will be covered in the course. So definitely check out this section to get an idea if these are the kinds of lessons that you'd like to be a part of. Now let's talk about how these lessons are going to run and talk about what I call the lesson sandwich and what that means for this course. So essentially, before every lesson, you're going to get 1 hour of pre-lesson reading materials. And so this is going to be your initial exposure to these lesson topics. So that way you can start to learn about it before the actual lesson. And then you have 2 hours of in-class instruction. So this is where I'm going to give explanations, demonstrations, code samples, and everything needed to meet the lesson objectives. And during that time, you will be expected to take notes, ask questions, and after the lesson, you will get access to all of my slides, all of the code samples, everything that I showed during the lesson, you will get immediate access to. Now, it's important to note that these 2 hours of instruction will not be a code along. First of all, it's kind of infeasible for me to be able to debug 30 different students' code, but at the same time, it wouldn't be a good use of your time because copying the code that I write exactly isn't going to help you learn the material. So during these 2 hours, you take notes, you ask questions, so that we have the bottom bun of the sandwich, you can actually practice what was covered in the lessons. So every lesson will come with exercises and projects, and this is your chance to have hands-on practice with the things that we covered in the lesson. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be in the Discord, so as you're working on these exercises and projects, I can answer any of the questions that you might have. And also, if you submit your exercises and projects, I will give a code review and feedback for any of the ticket holders that submit their exercises during the length of the course. Now let's also talk about those 2 project days. So I mentioned April 19th and 20th are going to be dedicated project days. And essentially this is where you're going to apply everything you've learned in the course to building a React application. And I will be available in the private Discord those 2 days to answer any questions, provide guidance, and help you out while you're working on that project. Those 2 days, since there isn't a live stream, I will be available from 10:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. GMT -6 to help with anything that you might need while working on those projects. Now, let's get into your frequently asked questions. First up, what do you need to attend this course? Essentially just a computer with internet access. It doesn't matter what operating system. Personally, I'm using a Mac, but I can help you debug if you run into issues on any other operating system. You'll need a microphone if you want to speak in the voice chat. It's not required, but if you want to, you're going to need that. And then also, if you want to show your face during the course, you'll need a camera. Like I mentioned, your face will not be shown live on Twitch. It'll only be seen by myself and anyone else that has purchased a ticket. You'll also need a code editor. I use VS Code, but you can use anything you want. And you'll need Node and NPM installed on your computer and a GitHub account. If you sign up for the course, I'm going to send out some pre-course notes on what you're going to need to get set up on your machine. So look out for that if you do sign up. Now, you might be wondering what happens if you miss a live stream, or what if those live streams are not in your time zone? Like I mentioned, ticket holders do get access to the live streams immediately after the stream is over, so you can watch it as many times as you like. But it is important to note that I'm only going to be answering questions in the Discord during the mentioned times, essentially my time zone. I'm not going to be available 24/7, so if you're on the opposite side of the world, it might be hard to get your questions answered immediately because you're going to have to wait until I'm back online. So it's doable, but it's really up to you if you want to put up with the fact that I won't be able to answer your questions immediately. Now, let's say you're not available for this course or you don't want to buy a ticket for it, but maybe you want to watch the VODs later on and get access to the materials. You can do that. So I haven't set a price point yet, but when the course is over, all of the materials and recordings from the course will be available for purchase for a price that's lower than the current ticket price. And like I mentioned, if you are a ticket purchaser, you're going to get access to a private GitHub repo that has all of the course contents, slides, everything else. If you're watching for free on Twitch, you won't get access to that. But when the course is published for purchase, you will get access to those materials. Now, some people in the Discord have reached out to me about this, where essentially they don't want to attend the course, but they'd like to sponsor somebody who can't afford to pay for it, which is a really cool idea. And I commend you for multiple people have asked me about this. And I'm currently looking into it. So if you are someone who would benefit from that and potentially would like to be sponsored by someone, or if you're someone that wants to sponsor a participant, join the Discord. I'll keep you updated on what I figure out on the logistics of how we can get that working. Now, you might be wondering, will I offer this live course again? The answer is maybe. I actually don't know yet. So I plan to get feedback from the participants to really decide if I'm going to do something like this again. But if I do, I'm definitely going to announce it on the mailing list. So if you go to list.coding.garden, you can join the mailing list to get announcements on if I do launch another course like this. Now let's get into the actual content of the course. And people have asked this, why am I teaching React? Ultimately, it's everywhere. It's extremely popular. Many companies are hiring for it, and all the things you learn about it, and especially like JSX and TSX, can be applied to other frameworks in the web development ecosystem. So React is here to stay, and that's why I'm teaching it. You might say, there's new React docs, and they're really good. Why would I even need this course? And my answer to you is TypeScript. So the React docs actually don't cover TypeScript. I'm going to be covering using TypeScript with React. And also, you get personalized instruction from me if you purchase a ticket. And I think my lesson order and scaffolding is better for React beginners than the React docs actually cover. I think sometimes they go too deep too soon, and you'll see that in the course outline when you compare it to the React docs. Now, you might be wondering, is this course going to make me an expert in React or TypeScript? And the answer is no. It's designed to get you up to speed on the basics of React and TypeScript, but the only way you're going to be an expert is if you have consistent and deliberate practice using React and TypeScript to build applications. That's the only way. And similarly, will this course get me a job? Maybe. Similar to the previous point, you can take what you learn in this course and build projects and put those in your portfolio, but for you to get a job, that's completely up to you. A lot of people have asked, why am I not teaching Next.js or Remix? And ultimately, this is a front-end only React course with a focus on single-page applications. And you might not know this if you're newer to the ecosystem, but you actually can't use Next.js or Remix without a basic understanding of React. So everything you learn in this course can be applied to working in a Next.js or a Remix application. Now, it is important to note the last lesson of the course is going to show like a very quick demo of Next.js and Remix and a lot of other things. So essentially, if you want to dive into those, I'm gonna show you where you can look to learn more. Now, last meta question. A lot of people want to know, what did I use for this slide deck? I use a thing called Reveal MD. It lets me write my slides with Markdown, and it's built on top of Reveal.js. If you want to see the source code for these slides, you can go to that GitHub repo right there. All right, what you've all been waiting for, the discount code. If you use code EARLYBIRD, the first 10 people to use that code will get 20% off the ticket price at reactroots.com. Also, if you are a subscriber to my mailing list, check your email. There is a discount code for 25%, and there's only 10 of those available. And if you're a supporter of the Coding Garden, so if you are a patron, a YouTube member, or a Twitch sub, there is a discount code in the Discord in the supporters only channel for 30% off, but there's only 5 of those available. That's all I got. Definitely check out reactroots.com. Join the Discord if you have more questions. Join the mailing list if you potentially want to get one of those discount codes if they haven't sold out yet. And also, if you have any more questions or anything else, feel free to drop a comment. I'm happy to answer it. Thank you for watching this, and I hope to see you in the course.